And then this goes over top. Just slides inside. And there you go. 7 ounces. Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, I'm going to show you how to make your very own Hobo Cook Set. It's a lot like the Stopple Kook Kit. I think you're going to like it. Stay tuned. A few weeks ago, I showed you the Stopple Kook Kit from 1916 when we did our hobo streamlining video. You know, pack light and travel light like a hobo did. And these are amazing cook kits, but they're really hard to find, especially in any kind of good condition. And again, when you find them, a lot of times they're rusted or they're worn out or they've got broken pieces or missing pieces. But this has been on my mind for some time, how to make something similar. So I came up with this. Now, as you can see, they're very similar in size and shape, but this uses very common materials. It's very easy to put together, and it only weighs 7 ounces. To make this project, you're going to need a few simple things. First of all, you're going to need a wire coat hanger, going to need an 8-penny nail that's a little bit larger in diameter than the wire hanger you're using. You're going to need a multi-tool with some wire cutters and needle nose pliers. You need 2 cans of Spam, the large cans, and you need 2 of these large cans of herring fillets. You can choose whatever kind you want. The most important thing that you're going to look for when you're shopping for this at the store, of course, the full-size Spam can and then these herring fillets, but you want to make sure that it fits inside the can. You should be able to get 2 of them in here, and again, they'll slide inside and fit just perfectly, like they were made for each other. And so you just want to make sure and test fit that while you're in the store. Slide 2 of the Spam cans together and then make sure that when this goes together that this fits properly. And like I said before, you're going to need 2 of these and 2 of these. The first thing that you want to do after you get the labels off is you want to go ahead and spray paint them black. You can use a high temp spray paint, or you don't have to paint them at all. Now remember that these are very light. They don't weigh very much, and they do have a type of coating inside here. Now, years ago, back in the 90s and early 2000s, this used to be a BPA coating. It isn't any longer. And I talked to someone in the industry, and he said, as long as there's liquid in here, you shouldn't have any trouble heating this up. Remember that a lot of times these are cooked in the factory, and the food is put in here hot and then sealed up. So that's not going to be a real problem. Since we never planned to put these on the fire without some sort of liquid or oil or something that we're cooking inside here, then we don't really consider that to be an issue. But again, you want to be aware of that. After these are thoroughly dried, you want to take your 8-penny nail, and then in the end of one side, you take that and you put 2 small holes here and here, spread about an inch, inch and a half apart, something like that, just guess. But you can easily tap this in place using just a multi-tool or a rock. Very easy. That's why you should always carry a nail with you, either an 8-penny or a 16-penny. But this is a sufficient size to make a decent hole. Then with the Spam can, we do the very same thing. You can see here, we've got 2 holes punched. We just put it here, tap very gently, and then wiggle it around to make sure that that hole's the right size. And then one thing that I didn't mention before, take the pliers and inside the hole here, go ahead and crimp down all of those sharp edges. Just crimp them and flatten them down like that, and that makes sure that it's not sharp so it doesn't cut you when you're washing out your pan. The next thing we do is we take the wire hanger, and you want to get one that's a fairly heavy wire, and we're going to go ahead and cut the hook off, just like this. And then we're looking for this end here. We're going to kind of straighten this out, and you can see that it's sort of curved. It's not exactly a straight angle, so what we're going to do is we're going to work on that. We're going to bend this out just like this, and then bend this straight so that it forms more of a regular handle. It doesn't have to be round, can be kind of square, that's fine. But we're looking for something that looks a little bit more like a handle. Now, one thing you're going to have to figure out is the length. It can't be any longer than your pan, or it won't fit in there. So once we get that kind of figured out and this end straightened out like we want it, we're going to go ahead and straighten out these ends here. Just make this straight. And again, this doesn't have to be a long and difficult project. It's just easy to do. And that's pretty much sufficiently long enough for what we're looking for. So then we're going to cut these off. Make sure you don't lose these little pieces of wire. Hang on to it when you do so. And cut that off evenly. When you've done that, you're going to have a piece of wire that looks like this and is slightly longer than the pot or the pan. Next, we come in about 1.5 inches and we put a bend in both of these. So we're just going to bend them down. And they should be pretty close to the same level. So you can adjust these a little bit. But basically your bends should be pretty close and look something like that. Now you're going to bend these just a little bit past 90 that way. So just a few degrees. Then we want to come down just a little bit right here, and we're going to put a forward bend in it. I'll do that and I'll show you what that looks like. Just a little bit of a forward bend. Again, do that on both sides until it looks like that. Get a good idea what that is. You can put these together and you can see that they match. It's very important to keep these even. Now, what we do, we've got these 2 holes here in our pan. These prongs go inside here just like this, down, and like that. And this forms our handle. But what we've got to do now is we've got to trim off these pieces right here. So we just estimate about where we want them, and we ultimately want them to be flush with the bottom of the pan or just above so that they're not sticking out and scraping like they would right now. And now we've got it trimmed off. This is what it looks like. You can take the pan, put this inside just like this, hook it around, and now it will hold quite a bit of weight. Very easy to do, very convenient little handle, and fits inside. This also works exactly the same way for the pot. Again, we go in from the inside like this, comes around, and then we have our handle. And you can pour with this, you can drink out of it. Again, handy little handle. One of the things that I look for when I'm at secondhand stores are these lightweight stainless steel cooling racks. And I use these to make grates and grills for my little cook sets. You can see I've cut out quite a bit of this one. So in order to make this little grate for my Stopple Kook Kit, my Hobo Cook Set, I took that and I placed it on top and I traced around it with a Sharpie so I could get sort of the angle and where I get the most size out of it for a grill. So this is what it looks like. I took some pieces of hanger, again some more hanger, straightened it out, and I just put a simple crimp around each one of these. So that gives me 4 legs that I can put into the ground and build a small twig fire under so I can cook on it. To store it, it folds in this way. You just fold these legs in, and they have to be short enough to go inside of the pan. As you can see, it fits pretty well. So once we get our little twig fire started, we can take our grate, and we want to keep our little legs spread out as far as possible. And we go ahead and put it into the ground. Again, you don't want to do this right over the fire. That's pretty hot. All right, there we go. After we get the little grill where we want and leveled, then we take our coals and we put them up under there, spread them around. Now it's important that you get this level, as I said, before you do this, because you're not going to be able to move it or adjust it after you get it on there. We take one of our frying pans and one of the handles and install it, put it over the fire, get it started heating up. Then we take some butter and put it in the pan and let that start warming up. I like a lot of butter, so we're going to let that warm up real good. Now that the butter's melted and the pan is warmed up, go ahead and take an egg. There's one, a little bit of shell, get that out of there. And there's 2 eggs. So again, it'll fit 2 eggs pretty well, just like it's made for it. While the eggs are cooking, we might want to boil some water. See that? We've got it about this full. Handle in here, holds it really nice. It's very secure. And we'll just slide it in right over here next to the coals, just like that. And we'll start boiling our water. All right, they're doing pretty good, as you can see. And the handle, a little warm, but not even hot. So we're just going to turn this, slice this in half, get up under here, break this loose, and flip them over. Now if you let them sit on here too long, obviously it's going to burn to the bottom, so you want to be careful about that. Would be a little easier to scramble them, I suppose. Kind of made a mess of this one, but anyway, we'll get it flipped over, and it's not burned to the bottom, just nicely browned. So we'll continue cooking then over our coals. One of the keys to outdoor cooking like this is to use plenty of oil or butter or whatever you're using to cook in, and that will definitely help keep your items from sticking. And then just watch it really careful and don't overdo it. This is pretty well done. I don't want to cook it more than that, so we're going to pull it off the fire. Now we've got our water boiling, and we've put a few more sticks of wood, some wood slivers on there. Let's cook some bacon in the other pan. Go ahead and open this package up a little. Now you're not going to fry a whole lot of bacon in a pan this size. So at the most you're going to get 1 or 2 pieces, and so that's what we're going to go for. Alright, we've got a nice piece of bacon here. Go ahead and slice that in half. Now before we put the pan on the fire, again we want to grease it or butter it or oil it. So that's what we're going to do. Make sure that this pan is well greased. Alright, we got the butter going, and perhaps see that it's starting to sizzle, and we put our piece of bacon. Now that's 1 full length piece of bacon cut in half, and yeah, it's starting to look real good, sizzling up real nice. All right, the bacon is done. Looks absolutely delicious, just perfect and crispy, exactly the way I like it. And here's our bacon and our eggs and our water. It's not a full boil, but it's definitely been stirring and rolling around, so it's hot enough to make a coffee or a hot drink out of. For our drink, we're going to have a little bit of this Element chocolate. Mix that in there. Stir it around. Oh yeah. And of course, it's always proper to return thanks. That's hot. Very good. All right, first we're going to try the bacon. Of course, it's bacon. Absolutely delicious. Now, of course, now that we have all the grease in there, we could easily cook up 3 or 4 more pieces while we're eating this, and just keep it going on the fire. But this is really good. Cools down a little bit, I'll be able to drink it. How about them eggs? Now I didn't put any salt and pepper in these eggs. A lot of times I just use salt, but because I'm using salted butter, I find out that that's sufficient if I put enough butter in with it. Of course, that also doubles to help keep the eggs from sticking to the pan. I'll finish this and get back with you. It's delicious. Alright, we are losing light. It takes quite a while to film these videos and do the cooking and all of that. But I want to show you how this all goes together. First of all, we take one of our pans, and these are the ones I cooked in. They clean up really nice. Again, make sure you use plenty of oil, and then just use a gentle scrub like you would any non-stick pan, and they'll come out pretty clean. First thing we do is we take the grill and we fold the legs up so that it lays down inside like this. There we go. You can see how that fits in. And we take our spoon and put that in there. And then our handles, however many we want. I have 3 with this set. So just set those in here, just like this. And then this goes over top, just like that. Slides inside. That goes over the other top, just like that, over the other side. And then we just have a leather strap. Comes in like this, and we pull that tight. And there you go. 7 ounces. And a lot of that weight is the leather strap. Now, if you don't want to carry either one of these pans, you think these pots will be sufficient, maybe you're just making noodles or something like that, then you can get this little 8-ounce flask from Walmart. And this will slide in here really nicely. There's still room for a couple of handles. You can see this. Just like that. Put your spoon in there. And there's even room if you want to carry the little grill. So you could put that in there like that, put the top on, and then strap it down. So that's going to work really well too. And it's pretty simple. There you go. Now we have 8 ounces of water, a couple of pots to boil and cook in. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll also find our waypointsurvival.com link. And this is where you can sign up to take survival and bushcraft classes at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.